Scientists are predicting more than 75% of the world's undescribed plants, those yet to be discovered, are already threatened with extinction, and nearly half of all known flowering plants species could be under threat. The dire warning comes in the State of World's Plants and Fungi 2023 report published on Tuesday, an annual global overview of plants and fungi from scientists at Royal Botanic Gardens Kew. It's pretty grim, Dr. Matilda Brown, a conservation science analyst at Kew, said.
The biggest update since the last report is that we now have a list of all the world's species of vascular plants. So that's things like ferns, conifers, flowering plants, as well as where they live. And that was something that Darwin asked for back in the 1800s. And it's only just now, in the last couple of years, become a reality, thanks to scientists here at Kew. So this list is what we know about. So we've managed to take all the information we already know, put it into the list. It is complicated by the fact that we're adding around 2,000 species each year. The problem is, and what one of the findings of this report is that 3 out of 4 of those new species are already threatened by the time we find them. Yeah, it's pretty grim. We know that nearly half of all of our known species are at risk of extinction, 45%, and the ones we don't know about are even more at risk. We're looking at 3 in 4 of undescribed species are at risk of extinction.
The researchers looked at the relationship between extinction risk and the year a plant was described and found 77% of species listed in 2020 were already under threat, compared with plants described a century ago. We know that it's already increasing and that in 5 years' time, that proportion might be even higher, Brown said. Kew scientists are now calling for all newly described species to be treated as threatened unless proven otherwise. Without plants, we are goosed, Brown said.
Yeah, it is. To give some sense of the scope of the extinction crisis we're facing, 9 out of 10 of our medicines come from plants. And at one point, we had yet to discover those. So if we think about half of our future medicines no longer being available to us because those species have gone extinct, that's the level of threat and level of impact that it could have on humans in the future. Yeah, plants provide us with everything. They provide us with what we eat, with what we wear, with the air that we breathe, the medicines, the materials we use to build with. Without plants, we're goosed.
The first State of World's Plants report in 2016 warned 1 in 5 types of plant worldwide was at risk of extinction from threats such as farming and logging that are wrecking many natural habitats. Around 2,000 plant species a year are still being discovered despite continuing habitat loss, where healthy ecosystems are destroyed for agriculture or construction.
The major threat to plants is habitat loss. It's land use change, and the main driver of that is converting intact ecosystems to land that we as humans can make use of, so agricultural land, for example. And that's not really slowing down. That's why plants today are just as threatened as they've ever been, but we're just finding out more about them. Short answer is yes, it's habitat loss, although we're looking at different timescales here. So what we know about plants is that the immediate threats, the short-term threats, are really habitat loss is the main one. We've definitely got climate change looming on the horizon, but at the scale we're talking about, looking at global plant diversity, we just don't have the data and the information on the risks of climate change to build that into our extinction risk yet.
Climate change is recognized as a threat to the natural world, but scientists say they simply don't have the data to factor it into their assessment of the immediate dangers. The report says preserving plants in their natural habitats should be a global priority.
Yeah, it's not an easy problem. If it was, we'd probably have solved it already. There's different scales involved in what we can do about land use change. So at an individual scale, we can try and reduce the resources that we're using, reduce the pressure that we're putting on the environment. And at a broader scale, we can focus on conserving landscapes and ecosystems and hoping that we don't then have to focus on the individual species. Because by the time we're looking at the species level conservation, by the time we're bringing them into the tropical nursery here, These plants are on intensive care. They're practically on life support. We'd much rather conserve them where they should be, in the forest, in the landscape. It's easier, cheaper, and it protects a whole heap of other species at the same time.
RGBQ has nearly 70,000 of the 350,000 vascular plants known to science, along with more than 300 researchers collecting, studying, and protecting the world's plants, fungi, and seeds to help understand and combat climate change and biodiversity loss.
Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it informative and enjoyable. If you liked it, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Also, feel free to leave your comments or suggestions in the comment section below. We appreciate your feedback and look forward to hearing from you. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.